welcome to our second episode of Vibe Coding with MCP for the year 2026, 14th episode overall. So getting up there in a number there, so pretty exciting stuff. Today I'm joined by my co-host Cam. Cam, you want to introduce yourself real quick to the audience in case we got any new viewers today?
Hey, I'm Cam. I'm the one asking, how does it work? Each episode, we're going to dive into this real data from real data sources to uncover insights, stories, and maybe some few surprises.
Awesome. Yeah. And I will be asking, Stan here, I'll be asking, what does it mean for the business? And so today's episode, we are featuring a really cool use case. We're vibing with Claude Cowork. So it's really going to be all about how sales teams can use AI to do real work for them, not just answer questions, but actually help move deals forward. And to do that, we're going to be talking with the sales leader who wants better deal visibility, wants better hygiene in Salesforce, wants to spend less time chasing down context and operating and pushing things forward in Salesforce. So Cam, why don't you introduce our guest for today?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks, Dan. Today, we are joined by our special guest, David Little. He is a sales manager here at CData Software. And David's going to be showing us how him and his team use Claude Cowork together with CData Connect AI to automate deal reviews, keep their Salesforce hygiene clean, and get real-time pulse on their pipeline health. How's it going, David?
Hey, going pretty well. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thanks for joining us on stage here, David. Before we jump into the demo, let's just level set for a second, just in case anyone in the audience isn't familiar with Claude Cowork. So, David, for folks who haven't seen it, who haven't used it yet, what is Claude Cowork?
Yeah, so Claude Cowork is essentially an AI teammate. I use Claude Cowork all the time to help me reason over information, take actions into my tools like my browser or Gong or Salesforce to really help me get real work done. It's no longer just chat. It's taking information that I want and need and putting it into action.
That's pretty neat. And so, what we're going to really showcase today here is what you can do not just with Claude Cowork, but when you take it to when you pair it with Connect AI, how that takes it to the next level. So, hopefully, we'll leave you here today, our viewers, with a nice, better together story when it comes to Claude Cowork plus CData Connect AI. So, on the Connect AI side, it gives Claude secure, governed access to real enterprise data. So whether that's Salesforce or HubSpot, whatever your CRM might be, call transcripts, emails, whatever it is, all via MCP. So Claude isn't guessing; it's actually working with your real context. And so, with what David introduced, that Claude Cowork can bring to the table, combine that with what I just mentioned, Connect AI is able to do. That's going to, again, really tell that better together story. You're really leveraging AI to provide real value and save yourself real time when it comes to your day-to-day operations. So that's what we're going to see today, AI that understands the deal and not just that, but can actually act on it. So Cam, you want to introduce our first demo here, demo one?
Yeah. Certainly. Thanks, Stan. Let's jump into this first demo. This one is all about opportunity review and overall sales hygiene. So the goal here is pretty simple. We're going to keep those spiced fields accurate in Salesforce without a rep manually digging into calls, emails, and notes and filling out those fields manually. So David, if you want to share your screen, we can hop into this.
Yeah, thanks for that, Cam. So what I'm going to be doing, and something that's really important in my day-to-day role, is to understand the health of my pipeline. And we have a sales methodology here at CData that we use called Spiced. And what that really means is how much do we actually know about the prospect? What's their situation, their pain, decision criteria, critical event, and impact. So what I want to know, and something I ask a lot is, that I ask Claude is, show me those deals that are over a certain amount of money that are missing the spiced fields. And the reason I do this is not to, be the overlord of my sales reps, but for me to keep my sales reps accountable That way, if anybody in the company is looking at opportunities, they know exactly what's going on. So the first thing I like to do is just, pull some opportunities from my team. So pull me ops greater than 10K owned by Drew that is missing spiced data in the sales process tab. So now what Claude is going to do is go into Salesforce through our MCP and actually find these opportunities that are missing the spiced information. Yeah, I could have just pulled a Salesforce report, but it would have been really sloppy, really complicated. I personally don't like using Salesforce reports. And I find this a faster way. And the other reason why I really like this is we can update the information right through here without having me going in and dig into all that, all the calls and emails and so on and so forth.
So Cam, you want to share a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of what Claude is doing, how it's working under the hood here?
Yeah, so behind the scenes, what's happening is Claude is using the Connect AI MCP server and that efficient tool set with those 9 efficient tools. It's using those context-aware tools like get instructions, get catalogs, get schemas, get tables, and so on to get context about the schema and metadata for this Salesforce data so that then it can run queries and query the data with that context in mind. It's pulling in context from Salesforce, Gong calls, emails, and anything relevant to that opportunity. And then instead of summarizing it all in one call, it's reasoning across everything tied to this account.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. And David, question for you. What is this, as the one who asks, what does it mean for the business? Like, what is this, saving you? What are you able to, what kind of value does it bring to you as a sales manager and having the ability to use a combination of Claude and Connect AI MCP to have it do your spice analysis like this?
Yeah, so before, if I wanted a report like this, I'd have to go, bother my Salesforce admin or somebody else on my RevOps side of the house to help me build out a report like this, or I'd have to stumble through it myself and try to find the relevant data. The second thing is like right now, as you can see, I just have a crystal clear view of what opportunities, what stage they're in, and how much it is. And now I can take action here. And before, I would only get the data and then I'd go harass my sales rep of like, hey, go update this. But now that I have this data and we have the MCP and we have Claude Cowork, I can actually, pull relevant data from this and then have it go update. So with this one, for example, like Summit Enterprise isn't proposing and is missing all spiced fields. That's like a big red flag to me. Because if we're at the stage where we're sharing contracts and trying to get a deal closed, but say if they start pushing back, the rep will have little to no information because these items are not filled out. Or what if the rep is gone and now I have to go backfill? I have no context. So the next thing I'm going to do here is, well, give me a spice update or a spice rundown for Summit based on all calls and emails. And now I'm going to get this relevant content. In a typical sales process, there's 3 to 5 calls, 10 to 20 emails. I don't have time to go look at all that. But what I do have time for is go talk to my AI, go talk to Claude Cowork. Cowork's going to go find this information for me. And then it's going to give me the ability to then look at this, make a judgment call, and then go ask it to update those fields in Salesforce.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that I'm hearing based on what you're saying here, David, is like typically what we're showing here, it would require you wrangling a bunch of different resources from across your team, reaching out to individual reps. It's almost enabling sort of a self-service motion for you to find the data that you need as a sales manager, and obviously presumably saving you a ton of time, and saving those other reps time from having to answer your questions to them, right? You're able to find this all out on your own.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly right. I think, the last thing that a seller wants from a manager is that question of, hey, can you give me an update on this op? This gives me the ability to get the update. It will also, look at calls that we have with our solution engineer. That now I don't have to go ask the solution engineer questions, or support. I don't have to go talk to support. I can self-service and be efficient and effective without having to, really bother anybody else on my team. And then that allows me to either help sell or enable my seller and have them be more equipped.
Looks like we have our rundown for the Summit Op.
Yeah, so we have everything here. So we have situation, pain, impact, not only emotional but rational, critical event. So this is good for me to know. On hold, internal roadmap reprioritization occurred in September. Other projects took precedent over this initiative. That's great for me to know, because now if we start working with them again and they start pushing back or being hesitant, I now have that information to start asking the question, and same with my rep, of asking them, hey, I know last time you had other priorities come up. Is that happening again? And if so, like, how can we, what do you need from us? So it's holding context over, the reality. Decision. So who do we have involved? Love how this breaks it down. So it's looking at the contacts that we've been talking to, who they are, what's their role, and some notes that we have from them in their process. And then I love the feedback. Critical event is soft. That's what I would say to my reps. Like, this is soft. Like, you need to get more information on that. So I love that Cowork has picked up on my bluntness. Decision process is unclear and the champion strength is unknown. Awesome. Hey, schedule, like, it's giving me recommendations. Now, you might be saying, like, well, couldn't you just do this in chat? You probably could, but this is where Cowork gets really cool. Thanks for this. Go update those spiced fields and set a task for Drew due tomorrow to make sure they are correct. Now, before, I would have to go copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I don't have time for that. I have to then go set up a task for Drew. Now, this can go do it, and I can go do the other things I love, like joining another call or preparing for a call or following up on a call or, watching rep calls, doing one-on-ones, having meetings like this, where I don't have to spend all this time with this manual housekeeping. I can have somebody or something else do it for me.
Yeah, appreciate that. I think that's such a good, to tie into our theme for the overall episode today, that better together story with Connect AI MCP. First, David doesn't have to go in and run a bunch of SQL queries to pull data from specific fields, custom fields and custom objects within Salesforce. Connect AI is doing all that for him. And now it's providing him that additional leverage of not having to do the manual sort of the tedious task of actually pushing or pasting and writing that data into the field. So we're really seeing how Claude plus Connect AI is not only going to save you some of that technical lift, but also really act as your coworker that is going to save you time and give you the ability not only to waste less time doing these menial tasks, but also help you spend more of your time on those value adding tasks. Like, as David mentioned, having those calls with his reps and making sure they're aligned and moving things forward as we need as a company and a sales org. So awesome. So it looks like we have our spiced rundown. And
actually, I want to call something out here, Stan. It looks like they tried to use Connect AI to update the spice fields, but David is a read-only user for Salesforce through Connect AI. So David is not able David's AI agent is not able to update the spice fields through Connect AI. So now what we can do is we can go into the browser through Claude Cowork, and Claude Cowork can use the browser tool by Claude to update it for him.
Great call out. Thanks, Cam.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and yeah, go ahead, Stan.
yeah, so just wanting to emphasize that here we're seeing the implementation of some of Connect AI's security and governance features, but that actually might be where Cowork comes in, right, David? Are we able to use Cowork to do that to write back to Salesforce using the navigating the browser as you would, as yourself?
Yeah, and I actually have a different use case I'm going to show you while updating a real app. So what we're going to do now, and thank you, Stan, for talking about the read all the access. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work through a real opportunity. Well, it's a fake opportunity that I created in Salesforce. It has some calls and stuff like that. And the use case here is our sales rep just got off a call, and we're going to make some updates without the sales rep ever having to go into Salesforce to make these updates. So you can see I have this opportunity. It's called David Test. It's in discovery. The amount is $0. Close date is pushed out. Probability is 0. So on and so forth. So what I'm going to ask for it to do is, to, first off, I want to update the close date. So I'm going to update the close date to 2/28 because I'm pretty fired up about this one, and I think it's going to close this month. The next thing I want to do is stage. I want it to go to eval, and then I want to change the amount to 20K. Pull call data and update spiced fields. So there is a call in this opportunity. It's going to go ahead and update all that. I wanted to go ahead and write a follow-up email, but just put it in my drafts. Do not send. I don't want to send this email. I want to read it. I want to make sure that it's not saying anything crazy. And then put a block on my calendar for tomorrow at 2 p.m. to review trial. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send this over, and then let's see where it takes us. And it should just go ahead and use the browser. And once it does, I will go ahead and share my Chrome, and we'll go ahead and start updating that for us. All right, so it looks like it is pulled the data out of Salesforce, and now I'm going to start sharing my Google Chrome. My hands are up here, so I'm not, doing some black magic. This is literally Claude Cowork doing everything it can. It's, full transparency as of today, probably not as fast as a human, but when I'm doing other things, I can't do two things at the same time. But what I can do is have this run while I go do other more high value things. And I'm thinking of my sales reps specifically. They're on 4 to 6 calls a day. It's 30 minutes of prep, 30 minutes of follow up on the actual call for 30, 45 minutes. If I can cut my reps work time by an hour every day, 5 hours a week, my reps are more refreshed, they're energized, they're not using their mental capacity on tasks like this, and they can actually focus on the things that matter, building relationships, negotiating, going to find new prospects and new clients to work with.
That it's not just a cost reduction story, it's actually enabling more revenue driving activities. So really awesome to see that business impact. All right, so it looks like it's editing, it's opening the opportunity here. I'm gonna go ahead and paste some data into our fields. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, and I'm always really nosy. I like to see exactly what it's trying to do. it says, hey, I can see it's currently discovering with the close date, amount 0. Let me go ahead and edit those. So right now it's trying, and it says, hey, the edit model is open. I can see spice fields are already partially populated. That was me messing around the other day. So I'm hoping it's actually going to go ahead and rewrite over all of those. But if not, we know that it is more than capable to do that. But it's going ahead and trying to update all these fields right now.
While it's doing that, David, can we actually go back into Claude real quick? I just wanted to call out. It looks like it even plans out the steps and shows your progress up there in the top corner. So that's pretty neat. It can show you Claude's developing a plan for how to execute the ask that you've given it, and you can see how it's going step by step and the progress that it makes as it fulfills your request. Is that what we're seeing up there?
Yeah, exactly right. And, I think kind of going back to, this is like the best assistant for me in my personal life. Like if it doesn't have a checklist and I can't like physically check it off or cross it off, it's probably not going to get done. And I don't feel as rewarded per se once I do it. So I think Claude is getting some cheap dopamine by also doing this as well. But I can also another time, like in past times, I've seen the progress and it's like, hey, you have this out of line. This is actually the most important. Do this first and then that and then this. So I can go ahead and restructure it on how I would like for things to be done.
But yeah, so it looks like, what does it say? We were able to update some of the fields here. So we're making good progress, David.
Yeah, making good progress. Even just like on these screenshots, it's so great to just be able to see exactly what it's doing. But let's go ahead and just hop back over. These required fields as entity. I'm actually really interested to see if it asks me, hey, I can't update this because I need this one field filled out. What should it be? And here's my options, because it's done that for me before, but I want to see if it's going to do it this time. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and I don't want to mess up with its progress. So I'm going to open up a new tab. Let's see what kind of sales process. Yeah, so these are just, fake names, fake people, pain needs, frustrated with, limits, can achieve this, currently evaluating phase, decision criterias. It looks like it updated the close date. It's working hard to get it on the evaluating side. But let me go ahead and see if it's going to ask me of why it cannot move there.
I also love the fact that it shows screenshots of the steps that it's taking. So you have really full visibility into its process, what it's opening and where it's going and navigating around your browser. That's a pretty neat feature that it has as well.
Yeah. Also, what I think is really cool is it's trying to find multiple ways to edit this, right? Like it's first just trying to click on that button. And then it's trying to click on the edit thing, the edit button, to see if I can edit it through there. So it's finding multiple different paths to try to update the opportunity. And I don't know if it's actually going to figure it out, but let's see what happens. Let me close it and try to edit properly and just go back and watch it live.
Yeah, I think that's a really valuable call out. Not only, with AI, not only are you able to interact with your systems conversationally, but it's able to actually problem solve and run into issues. It's not deterministic in the sense that everything has to be pre-programmed exactly the way it needs to work. So it really provides, I think, significant leverage there by being able to reason its way through UIs that it might not be familiar with by default. It's just true intelligence is, I think, what we're seeing here. So very, very neat stuff.
Well, and also with that, Stanley, is like I talked to multiple, sales leaders and sales reps at other companies, and everybody's Salesforce is set up differently. So just because it's having a hard time here. Hopefully it's going to figure out exactly what the issue is and try to work through that. And it looks like it's trying to. But if you have a complicated Salesforce setup or a very straightforward one, Claude is quote unquote intelligent enough to figure that out and not just be like, okay, this is Salesforce, this is my 5 steps no matter what. It is intuitive enough to find a real solution.
So with Connect AI and Claude Cowork together, you really think it's got the context that it needs to automatically in the background do these tasks for you, so you have time to hit those higher value tasks that you want to actually complete when you are actually working, rather than having to spend time doing this manual labor and going through Salesforce yourself.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially on those really busy days, Cam, that you have 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 calls, and you have an internal meeting and so on and so forth. Instead of having to work until 7 o'clock at night or wake up at 5 o'clock the next morning to update the things that you weren't able to the day before. This allows that freedom to be like, okay, I mean, you could even, if you really wanted to, is just like have all your calls, and at the end of the day, throw in one big prompt. Hey, look at my calendar, look at all the calls I had today. Make sure everything's updated based upon the calls that you'll find on the Salesforce record, update the spice, draft out follow-up emails for me to review in the morning. And then you come back the next morning and then just have a checklist to do. All right, guys. It looks like it was able to save the stage to evaluating and the amount to 20 grand. So let me see. Oh, and it did go ahead and update the entity over to CData, which was really smart. Yeah, again, it shows that it can actually work with the data that we have, and it shows that it can work within our unique Salesforce entity, and it's really not a one size fits all.
Right, because the spiced fields, those are custom fields that our Salesforce admin has added, right?
Yeah, exactly. So spiced is a unique methodology that we worked with an outside, consulting firm that they made and branded. So this is something completely unique to us. That sales process, I've never seen a sales process field before of any Salesforce entity that I've worked with. And man, it looks like it's about to go to Outlook and fire off an email for me. Let's see what it's going. Oh, it thinks we use Gmail. Nuts. We don't. We use Outlook. So that's unfortunate. I nudge it a little bit. It's gonna.
That is one thing that's pretty cool, like that that you're able to redirect it as it's working. Yeah, I always am wary of adding new prompts to when a process is running, but it seems like with Cowork, it's actually really built to be able to handle a new direction even as it's in the midst of an ongoing process.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now it looks like, it's finished updating the Salesforce items, and now it's going to start drafting up this email. So it's automatically put in the 2 follow-up CData rest drivers discussion and next steps. Now I'm really interested to see what kind of content. Here it goes. Done. I asked it not to send it. If it sends it, I can quick draw McGraw it and call it back. That'd be awkward. But I asked it not to. So let's see what it says back. Let me click the body area. It seems like it should be done. Drafted follow-up email. And let's see what it's going to do. Oh, now I asked it to put a calendar block on my calendar. So let's go over here. It's going back over to my calendar. I asked to put it on a calendar invite for, I think, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I have a meeting tomorrow at 2:00. Maybe I did 1:00. I can't remember when I asked it. And we'll see what it does. So let's see.
It's pretty amazing to see it just crank out that email so quickly. The body of the email, just thinking back to the old days when you had to write your own emails from scratch. It did it almost instantaneously there. So some clear time savings there, and obviously its ability to navigate to your calendar so easily as well, David, to actually add that new meeting. It's very impressive what it's able to do autonomously.
Yeah, again, it's just a big time saver, and really. I scrolled too far. Oh no. It is funny how it kind of talks through its problems. If you ever want to actually watch it, it kind of makes me laugh every once in a while. But yeah, saves me a ton of time. I don't have to worry about it. It's just doing all these manual tasks for me.
Yeah, ultimate communicative coworker. It doesn't hold back on making sure you know where it's at and the progress it's making.
Yeah. It's like that guy in the office that has to announce everything that he does.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when I'm using this, I typically just set up the task, give it as much detail as possible. And it's typically right before I'm hopping into another meeting that's 30 to 45 minutes long. And then by the time I come back, my tasks are done. And it's like I had, two brains and four sets of hands working at the same time.
Claude Cowork, you are really able to be in more than one place at once.
Yeah. I was always told, be focused on where I'm at, but I can be everywhere now with Claude Cowork.
Awesome. It looks like it created that meeting now too.
We created the meeting. Hey, all tasks have been done. Updated the opportunity, pulled the call data, follow-up email, calendar block. All right, cool. Thanks, Claude. I'll use it next time after my next meeting.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Claude Cowork, and thanks to CData Connect AI. That dual tandem is really powerful to see.
Yeah, thanks so much, David, for joining us today and showcasing that use case. It's a pretty complex ask that you just gave to Claude Cowork there, but with the power of CData Connect AI, it was able to query your Salesforce data, pull details from your call transcripts and opportunities, fill out that SPICE analysis, and actually then, using Cowork, we were able to input those fields. I was able to navigate our unique Salesforce structure and instance, all the way to being able to draft that email and even create that calendar invite. So really impressive stuff. Hope everybody here has today seen a true better together story when it comes to CData Connect AI and Claude Cowork. So David, again, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for hanging out, showing us how this works in the real world, how a sales manager like yourself is able to get some great leverage out of this cool new tech that's come available to us. To our audience, thanks so much for joining us today. We really encourage you to experiment with Claude Cowork yourself, see what leverage you're able to get out of it, how much time it's able to save you while you're on your next meeting and coming back 30 to 45 minutes later and seeing what's able to get done for you. But we would love for you to keep we'd love to keep the conversation going. Come hang out with us in the vibe querying subreddit or the CData community. We're talking queries, we're talking insights, we're talking all things data, everything new that's coming out in the AI space, and how CData can help power your data connectivity for it. Cam, any final words before we wrap up today's episode?
Hey, no, thank you so much, David. Thank you, Stan, and thank you to all of you for listening. And until next time, stay curious and keep vibing.